Hi everyone, it's Ali from Arda Wigs Canada again. Thanks for tuning in for another Arda Wigs Canada at home video. Our aim for this series is to bring you the best wig and crafting resources to you at home. Today I'm going to be hosting one of our most popular and requested panels, Wig Rescue. We asked people to submit questions and requests online to help make this series the most educational and fun that it can be. Maybe we'll answer yours today. There's a few tips I can recommend for prevention of tangling wigs. One of the first ones is to always put it back in the bag it came from, which we demonstrated in Wigs 101. And to store them correctly. Don't hang them up, especially on shoe racks on the back of doors. It's a really cute idea, however, you're opening and closing that door so often that it might get more tangly as you use the door. You can also keep your heavily styled wigs on heads in storage as well. One of my favorite tips for really long wigs or for ponytail clips is to actually keep them stored in a rope braid. Some people use traditional braids, but I tend to find that leaves a lot of waves and curves in the actual fiber. But if you're using a rope braid, you're just creating a gentle wave that can easily be brushed out, especially if you do it loosely. You can create a rope braid by taking the 2 strands of hair. You can also do this in chunks, so you could do it over here with 2 strands, or do it over there. But we're gonna do it just all the hair, 2 strands. Both of these strands of hair need to be twisted in the same direction. This can be a little tricky, and just do it loosely. And then you take these 2 strands and you twist them over each other in the opposite direction. So we just turned right, and now we're gonna twist them left over each other. You can put a small hair tie on the end here, and that way it's stored nice and clean, and there's not too many loose hairs sliding around the bag and creating more tangles and more static, and it's ready for you to wear next time. Another really good prevention tip is actually if you're not doing a photo shoot or a video shoot, or you don't need it behind your back for some reason, try not to wear a long wig behind your back. Try to wear it in a way that you can always see the hair. So I keep it split and over my shoulders in front of me. That way I know it's not getting stuck to somebody's giant wings or a booth in the dealer's hall or even on my own backpack or purse. Sometimes we need to wash our wigs, which does happen if you've worn it too many times or if you put a style in it that you didn't like and you'd like to start over, especially if you use any of the Got2b products or any water-based glue. You can wash your wigs in lukewarm water with a light dish soap. A light dish soap means a clear dish soap or yellow or even orange, but don't go into the blues and greens because sometimes they can leave a slight residue, especially on a wig that's white or silver or lighter blonde. When you're washing it in a tub or a basin sink, you can pat all of the soap in it and gently wash it. And then when you take it out of the wash, you'd like to lay it on a towel and pat it dry and then hang it up to dry completely. Don't try to brush through a wet wig because you will pull the fibers and stretch them, and then you'll end up with a bunch of little loose fibers on the end. We don't want that, so wait until it's fully dry. I also really just like to wash the inside cap of my wig, even if the wig itself doesn't need to be washed, just because the more you wear it, this can become sweaty or even smelly over time. One really important thing to remember when it comes to washing wigs is if you've gone to a convention where there's a water park or a pool, or you've done a shoot in chlorinated water, you do need to wash your wig later. Don't take that wet wig and put it in a bag and expect it to be nice later on. It's gonna smell like vinegar and dirty socks. First off, we're going to start with your tools for wig rescue. So the most important tool is a brush with metal bristles, which is again where we're going to recommend our paddle brush. So because it has no balls on the ends and metal bristles, it's going to create less friction and therefore less tangles, and it's going to help you a lot when you're trying to brush through the really hard tangles. Another one of our favorite products to use for detangling is the mane and tail detangler. So this product was traditionally and originally made for horses, but has developed since then to be used in human hair and also synthetic fiber wigs. One really important feature about this product is that it is super safe for humans around our faces and heads. Other people have recommended different types of lubricants for detangling and keeping wigs from getting tangled, but they're not actually safe for humans, and I wouldn't recommend putting them anywhere near your face or your head. This, however, is safe. Another product that you can use for detangling is a flat iron, which is probably going to come as a surprise to some people, but you can use it just to clean up any of the fuzzy ends, and I will demonstrate that. Another that is really helpful is a comb with metal tipped ends for pulling apart more difficult to get through tangles. And now for my favorite part, detangling some really messy fibers. Now this is something you might want to do while you're streaming some TV or listening to a podcast because it can take quite a while. I'm just going to demonstrate on one section today because I don't want to be here for a few hours. When you are sectioning off the wig, I recommend starting as high up as you can go and gently pulling the section apart with your fingers and pulling down. You'll find that one of your best tools for detangling is actually just your hands. So I've elevated the wig all the way up using the tripod stand that I have here because I do have to start at the bottom and this is quite a long ponytail clip. I'm going to start off by using some of the mane and tail detangler just to help lubricate the fibers so that I can pull them apart with my fingers first before I even start touching it with a brush. Any of the fibers that you do find are loose and hanging at the bottom once you've started to pull tangles apart and pull them down have already broken off from the wefting at the top. So don't think that by doing this you're making it worse or pulling out more fibers. The actual anatomy of a tangle is hair that has fallen from the top and slid all the way down to the point where the tangle actually is. So that's what a tangle is. So all of this hair was actually just weaved within here and creating those tangles. You can stop that from happening by using some of the preventative measures of keeping your wigs nice and tidy. For the next step, I am going to spray it with a little bit more of the mane and tail detangler just at the bottom. We want to use a paddle brush right at the bottom, and again this is a method I demonstrated when showing how to brush wigs. You always start at the bottom so that when you're pulling down the rest, you're not going to get stuck in tangles along the way. Once you've got a lot of the tangles out of the hair at the bottom, you want to start working your way up further and doing the same method of pulling apart the tangles with your fingers and pulling them down. And now that the bottom of the wig's detangled, they're going to slide right down and out. And then again, you're going to go through with your brush, starting at the bottom and going up and up and up further until you get to the new section that you pulled apart. And you're going to keep going up with this method. Remember to take your time and be patient. And if you come across any more difficult tangles along the way, pull them apart carefully. Now, if you're using one of our wigs that do take heat, this is one of my favorite steps. So you'll notice that some of the fibers are really crinkly and maybe not as nice as they were when you first got it. We can actually just go over this with heat and set it back to the way it came. If you're using a wig that is not heat stylable, unfortunately you'll have to stop at this step, though it does look much better than the original section of tangled hair. And going back to our heat styling video, whenever you're doing anything that involves a flat iron, you want to do it in smaller sections. So we're not going to tackle this huge chunk of hair here. We're going to start with a much smaller section first. And we're going to straighten the hair again. Now, there's a different method for when the wig is curly, and I'll go over that. We're going to start up here. We're going to line the flat iron up over it, and we're going to slide it down. And this is just going to heat treat all of the fibers back to being nice and smooth. One thing I need to mention when you're detangling any wig is that you want to start all the way underneath at the nape of the neck of the wig. So you're going to do that method where you gently pull it apart. This wig's actually in really nice condition still. And you clip up the hair, and you'd start by detangling the layers down here first. And then you let down a little bit more at a time and work on it in sections. Our curly wigs actually do have the coolest feature. So this has only been worn maybe once or twice and it's starting to look a little messy. You don't need to do the whole process of heating it up, straightening and recurling it unless it's already gone really badly. So what you could do is, if it was really bad, do the same process we did on the straight wig, straighten it completely, and then using our tutorial from the heat styling video, curl it all back up. This takes a lot of time rather than just focusing on it every single time you wear it. And before you put it away, make sure that you reset it. So I'm gonna reset these curls. So you're gonna pull apart a curl. You can also spray it with a little bit of detangler. Use the same method of starting at the bottom when you brush it. Do this for every single curl on its own. And you can literally just wrap it around your fingers. Press it a little bit and let go. And you have a perfect new fresh curl. So just do this with every single little curl section just before you put it away.